Hi guys, I'm Jennifer Malloway, and I am very excited today because we have a special guest joining us. Sandi Thompson is the owner of Bravo Pup, where she and her team teach dog training classes in the San Francisco Bay Area. And they are some of the best training classes in the Bay Area. I believe they've been acknowledged as one of the best schools every year since they opened, I believe, in 2008. She'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Sandi is a wealth of knowledge and has some great stories to boot. And that's why she's here today, is to share a couple pretty amazing stories. I actually haven't heard all of the details that she's got for us today, so I'm super, super excited. So without further ado, let me introduce Sandi Thompson. Hi, Sandi.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. I know that you've been very, very busy with reopening your in-person
Yes.
locations, and so it really means a lot that you've taken the time to join us and share with us today.
Oh, I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So give us a little brief introduction, or actually, let me first pause a moment to share. We've got Wagging Tails Dog Training saying hi, Sandi.
Hi.
um, yeah, so give us a little bit of just a overview of what we're getting into today. I know that, yeah, I'll just let you take it.
Okay. So we're going to talk about two events that happened separately, two sort of catastrophic events that involved water in Thailand that sort of led me to adopting my dog, Sam. He was a street dog out in Thailand, and his story is pretty a long story, but a happy one. So what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about the event that happened before Sam was born, and that was the 2004 South Asian tsunami. And I was there, and it was quite an event. But that's what led me to eventually meet and adopt my dog Sam. So I'm going to share the screen here, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, so Sandi has a lot of video pictures and some videos to share with us to give us a real sense of what it was like to be there. So let's do this. There we go.
There we go.
Sam.
There's a handsome boy. And hi, Nikolai. I saw your little comment. This is Sam. Sam is he was a street dog from Thailand. He now lives here with me in Berkeley, but it was sort of a rag to riches story. He was we're not sure how old he was, around 1 or 2. So he's between 10 and 12 now. So we'll just call him 11. And I'm going to get into his story a little bit later. I'm going to take you on a little journey that happened in 2004. And keep in mind, this is 2004. So that means the photos are not super high resolution like we're used to. I was using my brand new state-of-the-art 2.2 megapixel Kodak camera. And I was so proud of that camera. Let's take you to where this all actually happened. So my ex-boyfriend Dave and I used to go climbing a lot in Thailand, and so that's what brought us there a couple of times a year. And we like to go off the beaten path because neither one of us really liked the tourist area, and so we would find these like secluded places, sort of remote, and we really, really enjoyed that. And we ended up on this island called Coco Cau, which is in Phang Nga province. I'm not sure anybody here is really familiar with Thailand, but Phang Nga province was the province that was the hardest hit in the tsunami in 2004. I had the night before gone on a hike. Dave and I had gone on a 12-mile hike in the rainforest, and I won't go into that story because that's a long story, but I had managed to fall off a cliff about 30 feet down and nearly kill myself. So I told Dave, once we got out of this precarious situation, it was really sort of epic and harrowing, and we took it one step at a time, getting out of this rainforest before dark. I had hit my head really bad on the rocks, and my knee was hurting. I was very injured, and there were no hospitals. There's no medevacs in southern Thailand, so I just went to bed. And then during in the middle of the night, lo and behold, I got food poisoning, which is not uncommon when you're traveling in Southeast Asia, but I had it pretty bad. And so I said to Dave, you've got to get me out of here. This place is trying to kill me, because that's what it felt like. And so he went and found this nice little remote island called Coco Cow, which is right on the beach. And if you see here where the little cursor is, Coco Cow Resort, that was where we were staying. You could see it's right on the beach here. We stayed there for a couple of days while I recuperated from my injuries and from my sickness. And then I remember on January 26th, day after Christmas, I was able to keep a couple of pieces of toast down. So we were like, yay, Sandy's getting better. Let's celebrate with a day on the beach. So we went we decided, should we go snorkeling first, or should we hang out on the beach first? So if you can see this little island right here, this is called Pha Island. This is where we were going to go snorkeling. We had decided, why don't we wait until after lunch, just to make sure that I'm still feeling okay. So let's spend the morning on the beach, and then we'll go snorkeling instead of the other way around. So we did that, and we're on the beach, and this is what it looked like. I want you to see how pristine it is. This is why I took the picture of Thailand. And I swear to God, you guys, we will get to dogs later. You'll just have to be patient. This is what it looked like. The water was glass. It was so beautiful. And to this day, whenever I see the ocean or whatever, a body of water that is just really still and like glass, it gives me the creeps, because it was so beautiful. And here's that island that we're going to go snorkeling on later in the day, right there. If you can see, it's right off the edge of that picture. Well, things turned bad pretty quickly. Now, this is what we were looking at when the tsunami was starting to come in. You can see that the water is starting to recede here. And this line all the way across the back, this looks like a little wake that a boat would make. That was the tsunami. So the tsunami was coming in. It was very far away, but it looked like I don't know, it didn't look like much to us. We had no reference to a tsunami at all. So, well, actually, that's not true. My reference to a tsunami was, in the old Japanese movies, Godzilla takes, or tsunami, whatever. The tsunamis are as high as the tallest building in the city, and they have a curve, and they come out. Yeah, no, that's not what a tsunami looks like. A tsunami looks like this. It looks like just a big rapid coming in at you. There's no height to it, but there's force behind it. That's like something like 400 miles of water behind it just coming. And as it starts to get closer, it gets louder and louder and starts to get bigger and bigger. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because we knew something really spectacular and odd and unusual was happening, but we didn't know what it was. We did not know that this was a tsunami. So I want you to picture this. We have all this stupid tourists, and I'm including myself in that, standing on the beach watching this, going, what is that? And then I remember I turned and I looked behind me, and I saw all the Thai people standing out there pointing to the water going, what is that? And that means they left their jobs to come out and look at the water. So I knew that something was really wrong, but I wasn't sure. And we still all just stood there like idiots taking pictures. This is a picture that I blew up. Now I know the resolution is really low, but they're going to be that way. But this here, this boat, you can see all the smoke. They're burning their engine at full throttle, trying to outrun the tsunami that's behind them. And you can see how high that water is in comparison to the boat. And you guys, that's the boat that Dave and I almost got on to go snorkeling.
I'm getting goosebumps already, Sandy.
So we were standing there on the beach watching that boat get pummeled into toothpicks. And here's wait, let me stop this for a second. Okay, I'm about to show you a video that I took of the tsunami coming in. Remember, this is on a 2 megapixel camera, so it's not, the resolution is not very good. There is a lot of swearing in this video, so if that's upset you, you might want to mute until this is done. But I think you'll understand why there's a lot of swearing going on. We're watching the tsunami come in, and we're watching that boat and our friends who just get on it get pummeled. You can see that the water has receded really far out. Tourists are standing there. Tourists are standing there with their cameras filming it like I was. We knew that there was danger, but we had this sort of false sense of security that we would be okay if we jumped up on the tables of the restaurant, and that's what our plan was. We'll all just jump up on the tables in the restaurant and watch this thing, not knowing what was happening. We still did not know it was a tsunami.
Sandy, David asked if that was a fishing boat you were showing earlier that was burning their engines out.
Yeah, it was a snorkeling boat. It was a snorkeling boat. Now here I'm realizing that we probably should not be standing here. You see, as it started to come in, it gets louder. Listen to the water.
I'm not sure we can hear it at all, actually.
You can't hear this video?
Mm-mm. I can't. Can you guys? I mean, the visual is pretty striking anyway.
That's too bad. Well, I'll just narrate it. I wonder, is there a setting for the audio? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
We are now running from the tsunami, still not knowing it's a tsunami. And we're just running, and people are screaming and swearing if you can't hear this. And I want you to watch right here when the tsunami hits. Bam.
Oh my gosh.
Now, you couldn't really see how tall the water was at that point because I cut my camera and just ran like hell after that. If I had kept filming that for like a second or two more, probably would have gotten a better idea of how the force of the water and how much there was and how high it went when it actually hit the bank. But I also probably would have been dead if I had done that. So
we're glad you didn't.
So you could not hear the audio on that at all?
Mm-mm.
All right. So here's a picture that this is the last time I turned down. This is me right here. I turned around at the very last minute to see what was behind me. And so did these two people. And you see right here, I tried to mess with the exposure and try and show you that water, you can't see it very well, but it's all this brown stuff right here that just hit the beach. And when it hit the embankment, it hit it and then went straight up like 40 feet. And that's when you heard me say, "Oh shit," and run. And this is the aftermath. So what had happened was Dave ran in one direction and I ran in another. We just split up. Don't ask me why. It was just survival. It was complete survival. He went into a little tiny building, and I just, in my mind, I saw that building fill up with water like a washing machine. And I don't know how to swim. So I just made a decision right then and cut left. And I was in an open field. There was nothing above ground except for a pickup truck that was way off in the distance. And so even though I knew I probably didn't have time to make it, I was going to try. And so I ran as fast as I could. And I somehow made it. I was the bionic woman because the next day, every muscle in my body was so sore. So I don't know how fast I ran, but I got up to that truck right when the water hit, and I just put my hands up, and there were two people on that truck already, and they grabbed my hands and flung me up. And then right then the water hit, bam, and it just took our truck, picked it up, and we were just floating, like we were floating down a river on a pickup truck. And so from that pickup truck, we just watched. And our truck actually eventually, it got caught on another gigantic lorry, which is one of those huge earth-moving trucks. So it wasn't going anywhere. And so what we did was we all climbed up on that truck and we just watched the tsunami unfold from that truck. It was, these are the scenes that we were looking at. Now, my boyfriend at the time, Dave, hang on, he was in this building right here. So I thought he was dead for sure. He wasn't. He survived. He had climbed up on a rafter and held on until the water receded. So the water was like up to his head, and he just held on until the water receded.
Wow.
And
you were able to stay on the truck that whole time?
So this is the truck that we're on right here. That was my beer, by the way. There was everything was floating by, including a cooler came by with a bunch of beer in it. So I grabbed a beer.
Oh my gosh.
I grabbed it. You don't think clearly when you're in that circumstance. This is a video of all the survivors that were with me on the truck. But if you can't hear it, then there's no sense really in me playing it. It's just people screaming and yelling and trying to get in contact with their loved ones. But you can see that the resort was completely underwater. And this is not a bridge we are on. This is a truck. And you can see the trees are just, everything is wiped out. These are the foundations. Now this picture gives me the chills. And I'll tell you why. Because these are the reception chairs that Dave and I were sitting in when we were booking the snorkeling trip that morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked down at one point and I saw these chairs and I was like, holy crap. That's what we were just sitting in. So out of all the pictures I have, that's the one right there that gives me the heebie-jeebies. And this is a famous picture that I think most of you have seen. This is in Ban Nan Kem. This is a gigantic fishing ship that was just thrown on land. That's the force of the water was that It was that horrific. And I think, by the way, that fishing truck is still there. I think they fish. Did I say truck?
Fishing
That
truck.
ship. That ship is still there. They left it there.
Wow.
So that people could see. We were abandoned on this island for about 2 days. We had you have to remember, we were in our bathing suits. So we had no shoes, we had nothing. So we made shoes out of banana leaves. Wow. And then took a picture. And this is the Thai people. So this island that we were on was about 1,000 people, and about 40% of us made it. A lot of the Thai people, a lot of the local people died because they were working and they were building and they didn't have time to run. So these wonderful people had lost everything, their homes, they were missing their family members. They had no more jobs. Most of them were fishermen. No more boats. Boats were gone. Boats were toothpicks. Now, here's the thing. We are sitting on this island, and the Thai people cooked for us. This is a picture of them feeding the tourists. They fed us. They had fires going all night long to get rid of the mosquitoes. It was just incredible to me that they did everything for us. And all we could think about was getting home. And that really hits me even to this day. We were going home to our houses. They were taking care of us and having nothing to go back to, including family members. So I felt so in gratitude to the local people for taking care of us. And I'm not going to show these because you can't hear them.
I think I can
hear. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is we called this our little refugee island. This is where we camped. This is where we camped all night, and this is in the morning. We're waking up.
2:00 in the morning, and we're gonna try and figure out how to get the hell out of here as soon as we can.
This is all the survivors. And you see the fires that are still burning.
Here comes our first helicopter evacuation of the day.
So we were rescued by helicopter off this island. They dedicated 2 Hueys just for our island.
We're gonna take all the sick and injured people first.
So they're taking the sick, the injured, and the dead people first.
Where did they take you?
Pardon me?
Where did they take you from the island?
They took us to a hospital. They took us to a hospital where we bought clothes and ate. And then we had to fend up for ourselves after that. So that's the first group that got rescued, and then the second group, and then the third group, and then the fourth group, and we were waiting. We're waiting for, excuse me. We're waiting for our turn to go on the helicopter, and they kept running out of gas.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to wait. We finally got off. finally got home and got home safely. And then I personally suffered from survivor guilt. Why did I survive? Why did I survive and all the other people not survive? Why did those Thai people take care of us when they had nothing? And that weighed on me a lot. And then in 2011, or forwarding to 2011, I started seeing these pictures come across my Facebook feed. And this was 2011, the Bangkok flood. I don't know if you heard about it, but Bangkok, Thailand actually was underwater. 75% of the country was underwater. And so this is mass evacuation. And it was very much like Katrina, where they could not bring their pets. And so all these people were being evacuated and all these dogs and pets were left behind. And so I started seeing these pictures on my Facebook feed of boats and dogs swimming out to boats for safety.
Sandy, I'm not familiar with that event. Were these floods from a tsunami, hurricane? Was it?
These floods were from monsoons.
Monsoons, okay.
These floods were from monsoons. Had nothing to do with tsunami. But all of in Thailand, there are a tremendous amount of street dogs. I think they say in Bangkok that is like the most street dogs there are anywhere in the entire world. It's just street dogs everywhere. They also have pets, not very many, but some people have pets. And then a lot of the street dogs are cared for by shop owners. So they don't really live with the people who own the shops, but they live around the shops and they get fed leftovers and what. So they are familiar with some people, but a lot of people do not like the dogs because they're considered, they have rabies and they're considered just, like vermin. But when I started seeing all these pictures come across my Facebook feed, my heart just started pounding and I thought I have to do something. This is a bridge in Bangkok. I think it's Bangkok. Highest point. No, this is Ayutthaya. Excuse me. This is Ayutthaya. This is the old capital of Thailand, where Siam is from. And they would all gather on the top of the bridge because that was the only point that was above water. And when they would see boats come with food, they would all swim out to the boats. It was really pretty hard to watch. And here's a man that I kept in these slides because he's my hero. This is my hero. This is Pai. This is Pai. He's an old Thai man who had a boat and he went around and rescued as many dogs as he could on his own. And he ended up in the same shelter where I ended up taking care of all of these dogs. And this man, this lovely man who I love so much, slept there so that he could care for the dogs that he saved. And he slept there for months at a shelter. Yeah. And here's pictures of the dogs seeing the boats coming and swimming up to the boats. Now, keep in mind, most of these dogs are terrified of people, right? They are not treated very well in Thailand by most people. There's a dog standing on a car waiting for rescue. See, I was seeing all this stuff come through my Facebook page. Here's a boy trying to rescue his two poodles in a wash basin. The dog hanging on a wall. So these dogs were all going to die of starvation, disease, you name it. So I had heard that there was a rescue organization called Soy Dog, who I'm familiar with in Thailand, and they were putting together rescue efforts for these dogs. And they teamed up with another rescue organization, which was called Wildlife Friends Foundation of Thailand. Those two hooked up together. So I got in contact with them, and I said, do you need help? And they immediately said, yes, we're desperate. We need boots on the ground. And I said, okay, I'm coming. And I called up my staff and I said, I'm on a red eye. I need you to take care of all my classes. I'm going to Thailand. I have to save these dogs. So it was my way, you understand, of giving back to them for saving me, for helping me throughout the tsunami. I felt this is the one way that I could give back, because I can handle dogs. I know dogs. I've been to Thailand many times. I don't speak Thai fluently, but enough to get around. So I thought, you know what? This is how I can write things in my own way. And so about 30 hours later, I was there. And this is my boy right here. This is Sam. This is Sam. Him and his two little friends here were in a second-story building, and they were just looking out at the boats going by. And then his town was under 10 feet of water, so he's underwater, and they found this refuge. But they were going to die up there, you understand. There was no food, no water, anything. So as the rescue boats were driving down the streets, they saw this. They saw these dogs and they went and saved them. And here's Sam being lured to the boat with food.
Sandy, I just want to point out Nikola's comment here. She said, nobody said we'd need tissues for this live. Sandy and I, we forgot to tell you, but we're prepared.
Sorry, Nicola. Yeah. Just use your sleeve. Okay, so this is my lovely dog Sam, who at that time was up in that window, and he was spotted. So the rescue team threw some food down and lured him and his friends down. They were starving, so they came out, and then they darted him. They sedated him immediately. And so this is the vet right here, just waiting for Sam to trust him enough so that he could stick a needle in him and then put him on a boat to safety. And here he is. He's passed out. They put gauze around his mouth in case he bites, you know. The dogs were terrified. They're terrified of people anyway. And so they had to be safe about it. And then they found a little place for them in the boat, and they put them all together. That's him and his three friends coming out of anesthesia. Sadly, one of his friends did not make it, but most of them did. And now they're on dry land, and they're just in their little makeshift crates and kennels. They're waiting for them to come around. This is Sam right here. You can see his head is up now. And then they took them all to a cattle facility. This is a quarantine facility made for cattle. Oh, wow. And so the dogs are in the cattle stalls or the pig stalls, waking up. And you can see these dogs right here haven't fully waken up, so they're being watched before they put into a kennel. And this is right when I arrive, you guys. And when I arrive, we've got the dogs now. We've saved them, and we have saved about 1,000 dogs.
Holy moly!
What now? What are we gonna do with them now? Huh.
What do you do?
What are we gonna do? We can't take them back. It's a lake, so that was my job. I cared for them for 3 or 4 weeks every day. Me and a few other volunteers that managed to get cared for them, and they were very well cared for, considering the circumstances. Fed, kennels cleaned. They were all spayed and neutered. They were inoculated, and it was very crude, but these dogs here had just been fixed. They had all been sterilized, and they were on just the floor, waking up. So it was surgery. It was triage. It was surgery on the ground. And then here's another picture of the kennels that they were in. And it was towards the end, the dogs are getting pretty anxious. They were fighting a lot with each other. These are mostly street dogs. They're fighting with each other and bloodying themselves and trying to escape out of the kennels. And what we're doing is we're just waiting for the waters to recede so that we can take them back to where they were found and then release them.
Oh, wow.
But it was taking months for the water to recede that far. So we just had to keep caring for them, and that we did. It was grueling work, and some of the dogs did escape, but some of the dogs were really emotionally traumatized by the whole experience. And this is how we were helping. We'd throw them in cages, stack the cages on top of the truck, then go sterilize them, watch them, and then bring them back. There were vets there from all over the world that were helping. It was a pretty amazing establishment. They had volunteers, vet techs from all over. I remember Indonesia, Switzerland, Germany, America. We were all there. And then there's Sam. There's my boy. He just sort of wormed himself into my heart while he was there. Somehow you see how worried he looks, and look at his collar, his duct tape.
Oh, and he's skinny.
And look how skinny he is. Yeah, he was really skinny. He was sick. He had Ehrlichia, which is a tick-borne disease, and cancer. I didn't know about that. And I didn't know really if I was going to be able to bring him home, but him and I had bonded in the whole experience. And I sat down, I had to leave, had to come back. And I told him, I said, I'm going to try everything to bring you home. But if I can't, then, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try everything I can do to get you back to America. And there was a point where they brought all the dogs back. Once the water had receded, they brought all the dogs back. Some of them were claimed by people, by restaurants that knew the dogs and were happy and said, yay, we're going to feed them. But nobody claimed Sam.
Oh.
Nobody claimed Sam. So he went to another shelter in Bangkok, and he was in quarantine there for a while, and then they put him on a plane, and he flew to Los Angeles, where I met him. So that's the story of Sam and I. He came to America.
So how long were you in Thailand this time, all told?
I was in Thailand. Can you hear me? I just realized my AirPods fell out.
Yeah, I can hear you.
How long was he in? I'm sorry.
How long were you in Thailand?
I was in Thailand for a month.
Okay.
I was in Thailand for a month, and then I came home, and I just wrung my hands, not knowing whether Sam was going to make it or not. Yeah, it was what a gotcha story for sure, April.
And how long from the time that you got back to the States until Sam came?
That was a grueling 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That was a grueling 6 weeks. I
That's a
was
long
checking.
wait.
Yeah, I was checking the Facebook page the whole time, and so So once Sam made it to America, I drove down to LA, rented a car, brought him back, and that's when he started living the good life, and that's when my hell began.
Look at
So
that
he's
face,
a
though.
happy boy now. He was a street dog. I knew he was going to have problems. You know, I knew that he's going to have baggage, and it was going to be a hard road. I knew he might have a separation anxiety. I did know his ears are perfect, aren't they? They're the smallest little ears. You know, we did one of those DNA tests on him, and he came back really surprisingly half Thai Ridgeback.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even think that they would have Thai Ridgeback in the database, but he came back. He came back half Thai Ridgeback, half Shar-Pei. That's where he gets his ears, and half Chow.
Oh my gosh.
Thai Ridgeback, Shar-Pei, and Chow. What could go wrong there?
Right.
Yeah. Right. So he had a lot of street dog issues when he came, and like I said, I knew he would have some, but I was not prepared for the amount of work that it would take. He had separation anxiety, but he had a severe case. He had the most severe case that I have ever seen. He was so upset to be left alone that he's a quiet dog. He does not bark at all, but he screamed his head off.
Oh my
He bloodied his arms, like he was self-mutilating and actually trying to bite his way out of the kennel. So that's when I knew my life would change, and that's when my heart sank.
Oh.
Because I knew what I was in for. And I was one of those trainers that whenever I got a separation anxiety case, I said, nope, not me.
Yeah, a lot of trainers don't take them because they know what a difficult process it is.
Yeah, and that was me. And thank you, David. Yeah, he saved me too. I didn't just save him. He saved my life too, I think. Yeah, so separation anxiety, not me. Every time I got a separation anxiety case, I would refer to Milena DeMartini Price, who is the queen of separation anxiety. That's her jam. That's what she does. So I immediately called her and said, Milena, you gotta come over here and help me. You gotta come over here and help me. And so she held my hand. It was a very, very, very long process. It took about 8 months to a year before I was able to leave the house.
Before you were able to leave at all? Oh my gosh.
Before I was able to leave at all. So I actually had to hire people to sit with him while I was at work. So I had a Thursday night sitter while I was doing classes. I had a Saturday sitter while I was doing classes. I had a Monday sitter while I was doing class. I had to have a sitter all the time. It was either that or I had to be with him. No, full stop. Then towards the end, when he was getting better, I was watching him on my phone, literally watching him on my phone while I was teaching class. I was multitasking.
Oh my
I was teaching class and then checking on him. What's he doing? And I did that for like a month.
As if teaching classes isn't enough of an attention
Right,
divided
right.
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. And he had a lot of street dog issues. It wasn't just separation anxiety. That was the worst one. But he wouldn't go into buildings. But he did not like going into buildings. He wanted to be outside. He was a street dog. He wanted to go outside. So getting him to actually walk through a threshold was really hard. We worked on that. and he still does not like going into any buildings that he is not familiar with. Yeah.
Wow.
He was afraid of dogs. Because in Thailand, most of the dogs are sort of mid-sized dogs. He was pretty big for being a street dog, but most of them are mid-sized. So if any dog was bigger than him, he was afraid of that because he hadn't really seen that before. And any dog that was really small, I was worried about. You know, I didn't want him around really small dogs because he is very predatory. That's how he ate, right? That's how he fed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody walking in front of him, he was afraid of. Anybody walking behind him, he was afraid of. Whenever I clean the house, he runs and hides. He can't be around broomsticks or vacuums or anything like that because I think that he was probably shooed away and probably hit.
That's
before. Yeah,
That's
street dogs are.
quite
Street dogs are not treated very well,
No.
so he had a lot to get over.
Yeah, that's quite a stack of issues to tackle. And did you live in Berkeley?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so he's
Yeah.
going from full street dog life to a city.
From Bangkok to Berkeley. Yep, Bangkok to Berkeley. Yeah, he likes it now. Sometimes I ask him. I said, "Are you okay with being in America? Do you want to go back to Thailand?" He says, "No, I'll stay here." Yeah, and during his adventures with separation anxiety and everything else, he developed cancer. You know, and that set us back with his separation anxiety because he had to have treatment for cancer, and he couldn't be away from me, and they wouldn't allow me to be in the room with him. So.
Oh my gosh.
So that was quite an ordeal.
Do you see April's comment here?
Have you written a book? This could be a movie. Oh, April, yeah. No, I haven't written a book. I don't like to write. But I've written a couple of articles about it. That's about it.
Speaking of articles, do you have something to show us?
Oh, I forgot. Yes, so as I was leaving Bangkok, I saw this article in the Bangkok Post, and it was on the front page. It was on the front page. It says "Stay Boy," and then in a picture, look who that is. That's my boy, and I did not know. I did not know that was him. I just grabbed the article and I threw it in my bag, and I said, "Oh, I'll read this on the plane." And I pulled it out, and I was reading the article, and I was like, "Hey, that's Sam. He's on the front page of the Bangkok Post." And that is now my my cover picture on Facebook. Yeah, always has been. So that's Sam's wild story.
Oh, Martha. Hi, Martha. He had a goodbye article, she says.
Yeah, and he taught me a lot. I mean, we could talk probably for 5 hours just on his separation anxiety.
Yeah. I mean,
Ordeal.
as difficult as it is owning a dog with issues like that, like you learn so much, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God. He taught me so much. Yeah.
Oh, here.
I could do just like separation anxiety cases only, I thought, after him, because I wanted to help people overcome that, because I understood how debilitating it was, not only for him, but for me, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard emotionally on me. You know, it was, I mean, he had it good at that point because I made sure that he was never left alone, but it was really hard on me.
And
we both went through a lot.
Who were your sitters? Who did you have helping you?
Well, some of my, here's what I did. When Milena told me, she said, Sandy, you can't do this alone. It takes a village. And boy, was she right. She suggested that I write a letter to all of my friends and acquaintances and ask for help. And I was like, I can't do that. I do everything on my own. I can't ask for help. I'm not good at asking for help. And she's like, well, you're going to have to get good at it. So I wrote out a very dramatic letter. Very dramatic. I can be dramatic. And lo and behold, it worked because I got people that signed up. So one of my students actually was from Thailand. And so she wanted to help.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when he had separation anxiety, we put him on Prozac pretty early on, and he had a reaction to that, and he wouldn't eat anything. I could not get him to eat anything. And then I brought him over to her house, and she made him some Thai food, and he ate it.
That is amazing.
I know. He ate green curry chicken.
Something to remind him of home.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool. I mean, I know that like for any owner of a dog with separation anxiety, it's hard enough to ask for help, to find help. But
Yeah.
I was curious because with as many additional issues as Sam had, you know, like did you have to find specialized help or but it sounds like
I did. I have to find specialized help. I had to find people who would actually listen to me and understand the situation. And oh yes, April, he loves Thai food. Even to this day, he loves Thai food.
we actually we love Thai food too. We're ordering Thai for dinner tonight.
Yay! Well, Sam's favorite is green curry.
I love green curry.
So yeah, I had to find people who are willing to listen because as you know, with separation anxiety, a lot of people don't listen. They don't understand it fully. So I went through some sitters that I had to fire because they didn't listen. And so the people that I found were God, they just saved me. A student of mine, somebody I know who runs a daycare for dogs not too far by, and a few other people.
Wow.
So I relied on them for his recovery. I couldn't have done it without him. It really did take a village.
That's one of the things that I kind of love that draws me to separation anxiety a little bit is that like I'm like you in that like I find it so difficult to ask for help, and separation anxiety kind of forces you as the owner to like build a little community. And it's, I mean, what would we do without community, right? I mean, like the Thai people helping you guys. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
we need people.
Yeah, really, really do. And I couldn't have made it without them. So it's really very important part of separation anxiety is to get help. You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't imagine going through the tedious steps to overcome this affliction, this separation anxiety affliction, the tedious steps over and over of, the departures. I couldn't imagine myself doing that, let alone other people, asking other people to do that. And that's why I stayed away from separation anxiety. I felt like almost a fraud. Like, if I can't do it, why am I asking you to do it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you can do it.
Oh.
You just have to, and it's worth it. It gets better. Look at that handsome face of Sam.
Oh, and you also mentioned that Sam, did you have any other pictures to show, or was Sam's cute face the last one?
So I don't know if I put any in here.
Okay, I was just curious.
No, there he is at the shelter. There he is, happy. Finally, he's happy.
That's a sweet smile.
And then I think we have to go all the way back to the first one. Sorry. Don't watch.
I love that picture of him and his friends in the window, though. That's such a, I mean, it's poignant.
There he is.
Yeah. When is this one from?
There he is. This is here in Berkeley, and you can see he now does not have a duct tape collar anymore. The first thing I did was go out and buy him a jewel collar.
He's got a real fancy boy collar now.
That was his present for overcoming separation anxiety.
Oh. And
Instead of
mentioned
buying him a car, I bought him a collar.
Oh, I love it. And you mentioned that he had cancer too, or is that?
He did.
He's
He
all
had
right.
TVT, which is common with street dogs. It's transmissible venereal tumor, if I remember correctly. It's
Wow.
it's a weird sexually transmitted cancer that a lot of street dogs have, and it's a very aggressive cancer, and it kills a lot of dogs. But it's treatable. If you catch it early enough, it's treatable.
Sam is a lucky boy.
Yeah, more than you know, because the first doctor I took him to, because I knew there was something wrong, he was bleeding a lot from his penis, and they said, can I say that word? They said that they said that he had to have an amputation. They were going to amputate his penis.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I think I'd like to get a second opinion on that, if you don't mind.
You always get a second opinion if someone recommends penis amputation.
That's so true. So I immediately reached out to a vet friend that I had met in Thailand. She was one of the people who were helping and spaying the dogs out there. I described to them what was going on, and she said, whoa, no, I know exactly what that is. It's TVT. You need to get him on chemo. And so then I went and saw an oncologist, and we got him on chemo. And it took about 8 weeks, but he had separation anxiety, so that was fun. Because he could not be with me while he was being treated. So we actually had him sedated while he was getting the chemo, so that he wouldn't know he was by himself.
Look, we can see him in the background. Look at him. He's
Can you see him?
happy and healthy
Sammy.
now. Loves that training space
There
you've
he
got
is.
there.
He's saying, when's dinner?
Oh. And you've got the little ridge you can see too on the. That was a perfect
Yeah.
shot, Sam. Thank you for being right in the frame there.
Yeah. See, he's got that Thai ridge, and it's called a violin ridge because it looks like a violin on his back. You probably can't see it.
Oh no, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. Well, do you have anything more that you want to share about Sam or about your experiences in Thailand? And this has been amazing, Sandy.
I mean, I think yeah. I can answer any questions if anybody has any questions, but that was a story wrapped up really quickly. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, gosh, I could imagine.
Obviously, I could spend hours.
Yeah, like they said, you could probably. I mean, this could be a very long movie, or like have someone ghostwrite a book. I mean, I've only gotten tidbits of these tales over the years, and I'm glad to have gotten it as much more detail as you were able to share today. So this is, I mean, and I had goosebumps pretty much the whole time. Like yeah. No tears. We didn't have to use the tissues, thank goodness, but
But we had them here just in case.
we were prepared. April says, book please, movie please. Yeah, oh, and
April.
Martha was joined late, but is looking forward to watching from the beginning. Yeah, I mean,
Martha,
these are...
hello. Hi, Martha.
These are amazing stories, Sandy, and I, for one, am very glad that you lived through the tsunami first, because
Thank you.
yeah, because you've been able to help so many dogs and people since then, and we're all very glad to know you.
Oh, thank you. That's very
So
nice.
so we will. Oh, Paul says, "How about you, Sandy? How are you?"
I'm good. A little post-traumatic stress disorder from it, but I'm good.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, so we will let you go. We've hopefully got Thai food on the way, actually. But do you want to share with anybody watching this now where they can find you? We mentioned you. Go ahead. I'll let you.
Yeah, sure. Anybody can find me through Bravo Pup website, which is my dog training company. So it's info@bravopup.com or sandy@bravopup.com. Both those will get to me.
Yeah, and we've
That's
got
probably the
your
easiest way.
we've got your website, and she's also on Facebook and Instagram if anybody prefers those platforms. All those links are in the description if you want to check it out. Anybody in the East Bay, San Francisco Bay area, if you've got a dog or a puppy, Sandy's classes I can highly recommend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Jennifer.
Thank you, Sandy. I always forget, but absolutely, yes, you guys, if you want to see more of this type of thing, hit subscribe on YouTube, or we're live on Facebook also. You can like or follow us. And yeah. Thanks again, Sandy, and thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will be here on Friday at 4 o'clock again.
Exciting.
All
Thank you
right.
all so very much. Thank you, Jennifer.
All right.